So before you leave any angry comments on this video, please watch the whole thing, because I don't actually have a problem with the tuning. I have a problem with the name drop A sharp. It should always be referred to as drop B flat. There are really good music theory reasons behind it, and that's what I'm here to talk about today. So here's my rant. Let's start out by just talking about drop tunings in general. What they are is when you take standard tuning, so I've got standard E tuning, and then you tune the lowest string down a whole step. And drop D is just the standard tuning version of drop tuning. So that's what I'm here to start with, and that's what most people start with when they start with drop tunings anyway. So that's why we're starting with drop D. Now, I know this is kind of boring Guitar 101 stuff, but trust me, it's important to my point to really comprehend what we're doing here. So every note of the open strings in drop D tuning is in the key of D. You've got D, A, D, G, B, and E. And the interval relationship between each of these strings is a perfect fifth from D to A, a perfect fourth from A to D, a perfect fourth again from D to G, a major third from G to B, and finally another perfect fourth from B to E. Now moving on to drop D flat, also known as drop C sharp. And in this situation, it's actually completely interchangeable. Why is it completely interchangeable? Well, we don't run into any problems when we're naming the notes on the strings. So in drop D flat, this is D flat, A flat, D flat, G flat, B flat, and E flat. Now in drop C sharp, it's C sharp, G sharp, G sharp, F sharp, A sharp, and D sharp. Now we don't run into any problems because all of them are either one flat note or one sharp note. Every note in drop D flat is in the key of D flat. That's D flat major. And every note in drop C sharp is also in the key of C sharp. Even though normally C sharp is only used when you're talking about a minor key. It's a little bit out of tune, don't worry about it. And also we get the same fifth, fourth, major third, perfect fourth interval relationship when using either name for the tuning. So we don't have any problems here. Let's move on. All right, now drop C. Now our open notes are C, G, C, F, A, D. No accidentals here, just decided to do this because it's just a half step below and we're moving in half steps. So didn't really need to do this, but yeah. Let's move on. All right, now drop B, we don't really have any problems here either, as long as we're just using sharps. So it's B, F sharp, B, E, C sharp, G sharp, and C sharp. Yeah, all of these notes are in the key of B, and none of them have any issues when it comes to the intervals between them. So. Let's move on. Now finally we're on to drop B flat. Yes, it's not drop A sharp, it is drop B flat. And here's why. If we start on B flat, we have no issue naming the notes. We've got B flat, F, B flat, E flat, G, and C. All of these notes are in the key of B flat, and all of these notes have the same interval relationship with each other. Now, what happens when we switch the flats to sharps? We have A sharp, F, A sharp, D sharp, G, C. Now that's just painful. What exactly are the problems with that, you might be asking? Well, first of all, F, G, and C are not in the key of A sharp. If you want to fit them into the real key of A sharp major, into the scale of A sharp major, you have to turn these natural notes into sharps as well. So our real drop A sharp tuning note names are A sharp, E sharp, A sharp, D sharp, F double sharp, and B sharp. You literally have to put a double sharp in there in order to make the tuning actually fit. There are 7 notes in a major scale, but the key of A sharp major has 10 sharps in it. 10 sharps for 7 notes. That's why you never see A sharp major. It's always B flat major, and anything where any kind of sheet music is written down for it, it's always going to be B flat major. Because B flat major doesn't have 10 accidentals in it. It only has 2 flats in it. The B flat and the E flat. Now that's satisfying, and even in minor tunings, or minor keys, it's always still B flat as well, because B flat minor only has 5 flats, whereas A sharp minor has 7 flats in it, or 7 sharps in it, excuse me. Now the other problem is the intervals using this drop A sharp tuning. Now I know what you're thinking, oh, the intervals are the same, you tuned every note down, or every string down the same amount. Well, yeah, yes and no. If you want to keep the intervals the same, then you can use the tuning with the stupid E sharp, B flat, and that damn F double sharp in it. But that's not what most people do. Most people use just the natural note names for those ones. They're going to call them F, G, and C in the tuning. So now the interval between A sharp and F natural, what is that? A perfect fifth, right? No. A sharp to E sharp is a perfect fifth, but A sharp to F natural is actually a diminished sixth. Interval names have to do with what the actual name of the note is rather than like exactly how far apart they are. Because if perfect fifth is the same thing technically as a diminished sixth, but a diminished sixth is 6 letter notes away instead of 5. F up to A sharp, that's not a perfect fourth, that's an augmented third. D sharp to G natural, that's a diminished fourth. This is all pretty confusing, but bear with me, it's important. So you no longer have the fifth, fourth, major third, fourth relationship between the strings. You instead have a diminished sixth, augmented third, perfect fourth, diminished fourth, perfect fourth. What a mess. Now, is this a petty argument? Yeah, it is. Like I said, I have no problem with the actual tuning itself. In fact, one of my absolute favorite bands of all time, Chevelle, uses this tuning in some of their greatest songs. As much as it pains me to know that Chevelle actually calls the tuning A sharp on their set lists, and I understand why. It's because most tuners, their default setting is sharps only, so when they put that note through the tuner, it'll say that it's an A sharp, that's an F, that's an A sharp, whatever. I understand that most of these people that are using this tuning, who are probably just hard rock musicians and metal musicians, probably don't really know that much about music theory, at least maybe just a basic amount, but they wouldn't know enough to know what an augmented sixth is and why that's weird. And I don't expect many classical and jazz guitarists who would actually care about this kind of thing to actually use this tuning, because I don't think really much stuff in that kind of genre is actually written for guitars tuned down this low. If they were to use the notes down there, it would probably be on an extended range guitar anyway. So most people don't give a shit whatsoever about this. So why am I actually making this video?